So what we're going to do now is show the process of loading this. We're going to go through the exact way, the exact distances that we're using to be able to put this in here. As we're doing this, with it being newer hose, we're breaking it in, and as we're doing this, we're seeing that it is loosening up. So our camerawoman is going to move over here and show, and you're going to kind of get a good description and an idea where it's at. So we have Eric up here in the dunnage area who's being able to stretch it across. Starting off with, we're using the edge of the roller to point for our bends. And as we're doing so, we're using that to gauge. We do kind of as we do now with after 3 loops, then we make our pulling ear as we have on our flat load here. So we're going to get started with pulling up the 1. And we're keeping it this side to the most front. And that's because where that valve is, that discharge, allows for it to kind of sit a more natural way. That there. So after our 3rd one here, we're only going to do it on one side because the way this pulls is a singular pull. So we're going to take, and we're going to bring this down, and we're gauging just to the bottom of our vacuum gauge here is where we're making our bend for our first ear. So once we make that, pinch it down tight, start sending up our hose like we would, and we'll pull it up. And then just continue upward. Making sure we're not shorting anything and we have a good bite. Doing this allowed for us to be able to take and keep this hose leveled off inside this bed, which should eliminate us having to use the bungee cords to hold it in. So as you can see, I'm pulling off the nozzle here. It was to help kind of create a vacuum from the way we rolled the hose and connected everything. That way it allowed for us to get everything sealed and have a nice tight fit. So if you can see right across the top here, everything is sunk down and it's nice and flush. It's not overabundant, it's leveled off across the board, as you can see, with still plenty of room and a nice clean cut, which is just as level now compared to what it was when we had 150 here compared to the 200 here that's getting ready to fly off. So we're going to get the other hose set up, and we're going to take and bring it up and get it hooked in and ready to load. Still recording?
Yeah.
Okay. So what we've done here, to kind of give a little bit of an idea of what we've done for the process and testing this, has been we double donut rolled our hose. It allows us to get all that air out of there to allow us to be able to compact it a little bit tighter. And then we hook everything in, hook our nozzle, and it kind of keeps a lot of that airflow out. It works better on the first half because of the way everything's connected. The way we load it in the second part, it makes it a little bit more difficult because we have to unfurl everything and get the nozzle in to be able to effectively put it. as we're doing this, we're pre-connecting everything compared to doing it one section at a time. And then we kind of position it to where we don't roll everything into the road. And it lays out. This isn't part of the process, it just helps with what we're doing at the moment. So now, Eric's gonna get back up into the dunnage area and we're gonna finish loading this hose. With a concept that we're similar to with engine 922 is a single side pull and loading the hose into the ear, into our loop. So we feed it through one hand or one side to be able to kind of get an idea where everything's going to go. Maintain it, keeping it leveled off, and start feeding our hose in. And feed it in the exact same way, just with the nozzle at the bottom. So after our first lay in, we come over and kind of get roughly the same idea in terms of the size of the loop. Need to bring it up just a touch. And that gets us kind of leveled off just to the bottom of our vacuum gauge. Kind of using it as a guide. Finishing off, maintaining everything roughly the same distances based off the edge of the roller. Pinching everything down and in. Everything sitting in is nice and flush. Trying to keep our parade bends on the edge. Getting this folded up, and this should complete the loop. Allowing this to be connected in at the top. And this could be deployed either with one or two people to make things simple. One man is proficient with it. When we finish everything with this, getting everything connected and tagged, we pull out our nozzle and send it through the ear and send through both loops. And we're going to come down here to kind of get a better idea of what you're going to see. And we sit like this, just like we do with engine 922. So doing so, it's nice and clean, and it's just as flush on the top as the 150 compared to what we had with the 200 using the bungee cords holding it in place.